You lie.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lounge, your 4 o'clock happy hour. I'm your host, Marlena, and Danny Boy. Good afternoon, Danny.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Down there in Jacktown.
Everything is good. You know, the weather's been bad, and I know he's remoting in because I know some bad weather has come through the state on our end. Danny, how's the weather up your way?
Not too good. It ain't as bad as it was, but not too good. That's why I'm not actually sitting there in the studio with you today, with you and our guests. But hey, God is good. We're here.
That's right. Yeah, and we're definitely prayers out for everybody that had inclement weather, had any damage to your homes or anything. I haven't heard about any loss of life, so that's a good thing. Always, we're thankful for that. But yeah, we had storms come through starting last night, Danny, here, and we had hail and winds, got trees down. So it was pretty bad here. But like you said, we're very thankful that so far, you know, hopefully everyone is good, and we just something we have to get past.
Absolutely. We've been here before. People in Mississippi are resilient when it comes to natural disasters and stuff. We always find a way to bounce back. You know, we've had quite a few over the state the last few years, but we always stand strong and we bounce back, you know. So just it's God's work. What can you do but pray and be thankful and know and understand that there is a higher power?
Yeah, amen. You're exactly right. That's what we can do on our end. We can't control it, so we can just do what we have to do and keep going. Make the best of it. We're getting started with the lounge. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to discuss a few things, and later on, we're going to have Jake Carter, musician, singer. We're going to have him here talking about his life. Very, very, very interesting journey. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. Dan, a few stories I wanted to talk about. A few things over the weekend? Did you see the game by chance?
Which one? The girls?
The only one that really mattered. There was the game against it was South Carolina and what was the girls who played?
South Carolina and Iowa. You don't even remember.
There you go. Yeah, I was rooting for South Carolina, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, South Carolina and Iowa. Amazing game. Two amazing teams. Some amazing coaching from Don, and on the other side too, you know. So I enjoy the thing that I like is I've years ago I coached some junior high girls basketball, so I'm like an advocate for women's basketball. I like to see what's going on with the sport. I think the women deserve to have pay raises in the WNBA. I'm happy to see that these young people can have a good living and make a lives for themselves doing something that they love to do, even on the college level. I was talking to some former athletes, college athletes, and we were talking about the NIL. And it's wonderful to be able to see people like Angel Reese and Flajay and Caitlin Clark and Deja Kelly and all these young ladies that are playing college sports, and young men as well. But for some reason, the men have always kind of got their way with stuff, even in college when it wasn't even legal to do it. Guys have always, had cars and access to things if they were good athletes. But it's just good to see the women be able to benefit from their hard work and labor too.
That's true. And like I said, we commend both the women and the men. I know, but the women game, it averaged about 18.7 million viewers this Sunday. So, and it got up to anywhere to 24 million with ESPN and ABC combined. So
yeah, I think they said it was the highest watched.
The 2024 Soul Blues Mega.
My bad.
Yeah. You're right. It was the highest. It's saying it was
Am I correct?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
Am I correct about that? It was the most watched sports game in history.
Right. It made it the first time in history that a women's final has drawn a larger TV audience than the men's. So it broke that record. So, like you said, I'm happy to see it. I'm a former athlete myself. And even now with the WNBA, when it came to be, they don't get as many viewers and people buy tickets to see it. So hopefully, we're seeing the tides being turned with people supporting the women just as much, if not a little bit better than the men. And also, support your local teams as well, college teams, high school teams. So, I think everybody, men and women, but especially the women, deserve our support as well.
Let me ask you something. When you play basketball and you ran track, is that right?
I did it all. I did basketball. Basketball was my thing, but I did run track. I did not like track. Now, no offense to the track brothers, but I wasn't a track and field. I did well. I just didn't enjoy it.
Okay, so you probably ran it like most coaches make basketball on track. Yeah. Hey, did you have buckets or were you just out
Danny, I'm sending you my newspaper clippings. I'm sending it to you. Dan, I'm gonna prove to you. But look, if my coach, if anybody out there remember me playing basketball, please chime in and let Danny know.
Marlene,
to play with, okay?
Nothing
to play with.
Next time I see you, we going somewhere when the weather's good, and I'm gonna challenge you to free throws. Okay, I done got too old. I'm gonna challenge you to a free throw contest
all day. I can shoot your lights out, Danny. All day.
Oh, you got buckets like that?
I'm gonna shoot your lights out all day, every day.
Hey, you hear talking, don't you, Stamps? You hear talking, right?
But yeah, so again, congratulations to South Carolina, to Dawn Staley. She was undefeated, actually. No, she had lost one game this season. So that's just a testament of her. She's a former WNBA player and basketball player as well. So a college basketball player. So yeah, it's a testament to her journey, her hard work, and she was able to deliver that and gift that to her players. And it just, all the players, but definitely to Dawn. She's definitely deserving of that win.
Nice spirit. When she first came to South Carolina, my cousin, Coach Darius Taylor, who's and he's in management with the Connecticut Storm now. His wife, Joni, coaches Texas A&M, but Darius worked for her.
Okay.
She first came to South Carolina, and she came down to their wedding, and she was very nice and very pleasant and just a bundle of joy to be around. So shout out to Dawn Staley, a Hall of Famer. And I think now it's been like, that's the first time somebody's gone undefeated and won the championship since Gino with Connecticut, since like 2012, 2016 or something?
I remember them saying it's only been 5. I think she was in the top or the 5 that's done it. So it hadn't been many. You're probably right about that.
So yeah, big shout out to Dawn, man, for making history. And to those young ladies, they worked real hard. And I want to shout out LSU and Ole Miss, and especially Coach Yo at Ole Miss, Mississippi State, man, all of our Jackson State.
Coach Reed over there at Jackson State, she's been doing great things since she's been there. So definitely shout them out as well.
Yep. So big shout out to everybody and to all the high school athletes as well.
Yeah. Well, let's catch us up a little bit on the news. I know some other stuff since we last aired. I had a great show with Bobby last week. So if you guys missed that, definitely check out our Facebook, YouTube channels. Go back and watch that show. We had a wonderful time with the legendary Mr. Bobby Rush. So thank him so much for coming by and being our first guest on our first show. So we had a great time with him.
And Miss Lois coming by in a couple of weeks, maybe next week, isn't she? Or a couple of weeks. Bobby's probably gonna come back.
Right, he probably will. We will be hearing her back as well.
A lot of knowledge, a lot of history from Bobby Rush, man. So
very much. Very thankful for him. We thank him so much for stopping by. So we're going to take a break for just a moment. And when we come back on the other side, we'll have Jake Carter.
Hey, upstate New York Blues, baby. I can't wait.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Fest, Sunday, May 26th, starring Calvin Richardson.
Girl, they don't know me, that's just hearsay.
And King George.
Tell her back that thing on double little weight, don't bother me.
With special guest R&B superstar Chrisette Michele.
Just a couple of friends.
And three-time Grammy winner Bobby Rush. Sunday, May 26th, Sam Coopwood Park, 880 Highway 4 East, Holly Springs, Mississippi. Gates open at 12 noon, showtime 5 p.m. You'll also see Stacey Adams.
Beg, baby, for your love.
Justin. Billy D. Jay Lake.
I wanna party. Come on and ride with me. Casino.
And introducing Bree Wooten.
But I'm tired of being the woman in the middle.
Tickets available online at Eventbrite.com. Call 901-355-7318 for tickets and information. A limited amount of early bird tickets on sale now. Sponsored by Power Grid Professionals, Southern Flames, and D Hill Keys. Get ready because we're coming. Coming.
All right. So we are back. And as I promised in the studio today, we have Jake Carter. Thank you, Jake, for coming by to see us today.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
We're excited to talk to you about your journey and, we're going to get a chance to tell everybody what led you to Mississippi. But first of all, how are you? Did the storms, anything impact you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I stay in Canton, Mississippi, and I was woken up at about 5 a.m. to a good old tornado warning.
Okay.
We're all good up there, though. I'm all safe, and it seemed like there wasn't too much damage going down. But I'm doing pretty good other than that, and I had a safe drive to Jackson this morning and did okay.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that all is well with you and your family. Everybody's good.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. So yeah, we're gonna just go right into it. So I know we were talking and you were telling us. I know. So tell me, when you talk about your style of music, what is there a particular genre that you would say you're in, or how would you define yourself as a musician?
Yes, ma'am. So I really like to say I'm a blues man. But my music specifically is kind of a combination of like old school blues, modern hip hop, a little bit of Southern soul, a little bit of country in there, a little bit of R&B, a little bit of bounce music.
Okay.
And that kind of gives you an idea. A lot of quartet. I was about to say a little bit of quartet, but there's a lot of quartet in there depending on the song.
Nice. Okay.
So,
quartet.
yeah.
Danny, that's your specialty, right?
He lives in Canton, Mississippi, where the king of quartet is from, the Canton Spirituals. So you got to know about that. You get
that's sacred ground, man. Of course, the legends.
Yeah, if you in Canton, man, you got to know about the
Quartet City up there.
That's it. Well, tell us. You were telling us your journey. So tell us, where are you from? I know you journeyed here to Mississippi. So talk about that a little bit. Where you from? What brought you here to Mississippi? And what made you make that decision to come to Mississippi?
So I'm originally from a small town in upstate New York, not New York City, a small town called Red Hook in the Hudson Valley region, which is about 100 miles north of New York City. And I was born and raised there, went to school up there, grew up there. And I went to college in Boston, Massachusetts at Berklee College of Music.
Okay.
And studied music there for 4 years and graduated. I spent 3 years in Atlanta, Georgia after that. I was doing music full time over there and was a part of that scene. And within the past year, I've moved to the Jackson area.
Okay.
For the sake of music. I had admired. I mean, Mississippi is a really special place in my heart and always has been, even before I had ever set foot here.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell people I was a blues nerd growing up.
Okay.
Meaning all the legends, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Jimmy Reed. I memorized, the little Delta towns they were born in.
Yeah.
All their songs. So I always looked up to folks like that. And I was so excited to kind of learn and now in some ways take part in the beautiful scene that y'all have here with Southern Soul and blues and legends like Bobby Rush, who are, 90 years old, still here doing his thing. So that's just really exciting to me. And that was a big part of why my journey to
Yeah,
come here, I guess
yeah.
you'd say.
So in New York, what did they play, or in Red Hook, did you hear a lot of blues or Mississippi music, or where did you go to find that music?
So first off, there is a blues scene. There's blues scenes in a lot of places in the world in America that people might not think, because it's, I mean, long been.
But the traditional blues though, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a very big difference between like traditional blues, which is kind of what I was initially raised on, and obviously Southern soul, more new blues like that. I love both, but I was definitely more so raised on the traditional stuff. To that point, so my story personally, my parents were both musicians, not full-time, but extremely talented, creative people. My dad, Frank Carter, passed away tragically when I was about 9 months old. And he was an incredible musician, harmonica player, saxophone player. He did a lot of jazz and a lot of blues. He grew up on the blues in his time. And his records, along with my mom's, were pretty much, and his instruments were pretty much left in my house that I grew up in.
So musician family, type music.
Very much so. Yeah. But basically, as a kid, like it was just me and my mom, and I spent my days kind of, I guess you say, discovering this music through my dad's records and like teaching myself how to play harmonica. And eventually, since there's a local scene up there, going to the bar, playing in the bars at 13 years old, and just getting a feel for it.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not like I say I'm a blues man, but I'm not just like, I love all kinds of music.
Right.
And of course, growing up, I was born in 1997, so
okay.
I like hip hop. Like being this age is a very different sound than the traditional blues that's popular.
Yeah.
So when you hear my music, it's kind of an influence of all these places I've been and the things that I love most, and the generation I'm in as well.
Yeah.
So
who are some of those? You named some that were there any in particular that you listen to most, and their style, their feel? Who were those artists?
Absolutely. Well, Muddy Waters, I still like to say, is my all-time fave.
Okay.
A hero of mine. I mean, I tell people, I wanted to be Muddy Waters when I was 12, which sounds kind of crazy, but
so ask you this: how many times did you watch Cadillac Records?
Oh man, see, it was funny, man, because I don't know how old I was when that movie came out, but I was enough of a little blues nerd that I could fact check some of the stuff. I was in the theater like, Wolf didn't actually, like, I'm telling you, I was on it before Cadillac Records.
Yeah.
I was into chess. I remember my grandmother. I've only been to Chicago once when I was a little kid, and I was like, my grandmother and I took a little fun trip there from New York. And we had to go to chess. Like, I was like, we got to go and meet Willie Dixon's grandson, runs that, and see the history. So, I'm very familiar with Cadillac Records, man. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you said Bobby.
I probably watched it 20 times.
Man.
And you said Bobby.
Yeah, I watched it 20 times. Then every time I watch it, Bobby Rush say, "It's a good movie, but it wasn't."
Right.
He said, "Well,
that's funny, man."
That's what Bobby said.
There's a lot of I believe Bobby 100%
right.
on that.
If Bobby says it,
he was there. He knows. He knows what he's talking about.
He's definitely correct. Definitely correct. But then we had Bobby on last week, and we were just talking about like the music industry compared to when he came. When he was started, and now. Do you? And then you being a musician and studying, what do you see the difference now? And is it easier now as far as mixing different genres, or what do you think about the music industry now? Well,
I can't say, I mean, I don't have the status and the wealth of experience that Mr. Bobby Rush at 90 years old has. He's literally been in the blues since back in the heyday. But I have had experience in a lot of different music scenes in my lifetime so far. Like I've played going to music college is a very different kind of style and music scene up there versus maybe here, or even in Atlanta. I was like a lot more heavily involved in like hip hop over there. That's what's really big over there in general. But I think for me, my music, I mean, I guess I'll talk about Mississippi because that's where we're at, and that's where I'm at, very much so in my sound and all that. I think the Southern soul scene here, to me, and I've talked to people like friends, like shout out to people like Big Yayo, Gita Jones, Sir Charles, King George, like all those people who are doing it. It's a really incredible blend of like, you know, the soul of like this old school music that we
Right.
all know and love.
Yeah.
With a really modern, sometimes like a danceable touch, and sometimes just like a modern sound to it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's different. Danny and I were talking about the difference between like traditional and, you know, Southern soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's really special about this music to me, and
Yeah.
new. And I think just culturally speaking, like something that fascinates me about like Mississippi and also like Louisiana is like, you know, it's not just blues that's here.
Mhm.
Like it's all the different, like talking about Louisiana, I had a show last week in kind of Shreveport area with
Mhm.
Jeter Jones. You know, that's Ratchet City.
Yeah.
They like their dirty South hip hop over
Yeah,
there. I mean, they like
yeah.
it here, but you know, here it's like the Mohead stuff, the jig and stuff, and then New Orleans is 3 hours away, Memphis crunk music. So it's like it's this incredible like blend of this stuff.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I'm not even talking as a genuine fan of all those kinds of music, and I've studied it and I love that stuff. It's exciting for me to try to, you know, just share my sound with the people here and beyond in the context of that. So
Yeah. So when it comes to you writing songs and music, I know I've heard. I know I first saw you at Big Yayo's trail ride in Prentice,
right.
and when you broke out that harmonica, I'm like, wow, who is he?
Right.
But just your songwriting and creative process. Walk us through that. How do you? Because you have this melting pot of music. How do you go about creating your music?
Yeah, my music is these days. It's not like I have any kind of formula. It depends on the song and the feeling
Mhm.
and the message, I guess you'd say. But I'm an artist, musician, and producer
Okay.
and entertainer.
Okay.
So generally, I start with like a beat, which often starts with like a sample. I make all my own, so I don't really use samples much.
Right. Okay.
And when talking about making a sample, that means probably me doing some quartet guitar stuff or like some harmonic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Putting that into where, you know, my workspace where I make beats at on my computer, flipping that.
Okay.
In other words, putting some 808s on it, giving it a kind of that heavy knock in the trunk.
Yeah.
And then kind of getting that together, and then just, you know, writing what I feel, what the beat might make me feel.
Yeah.
It's a ton of blues. Like, I think just because of how much blues I've absorbed in my lifetime, that tone, like my writing is naturally kind of a blues tone.
Yeah.
And if y'all listen to my songs, I think you can hear pretty clearly.
I Want to Go Home reminded me of that, like you said, that quartet. I'm like, wait a minute, because you know, you pulled a little bit from here and made it more of a blues. So I definitely can hear that in a song like that. Yeah.
Well, would it be safe then with you saying, I like the fact that you say, I'm an artist. I love that. And I often tell people now in the music and guys that are getting into it, don't categorize yourself or let the people decide what they like. Just put yourself in that box. If you're good, just be an artist. Like, would it be safe to say your music is kind of like gumbo? From listening to what you say, you kind of just put it all in there and mix it together and stir it up and cook it and let it come out smoking, pretty much, right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy, man. I would like to think so. I mean, if I had to pick, like when people ask me if I had to pick one genre, I say blues, because that's what's closest to my heart, and that's kind of everything I do. Even if it's not blues, it's coming from the blues. And for the record, that's music in period in America. It's like it all comes from the roots. We all are influenced by that, whether we think so or not.
Yeah.
So I would call it blues, but I would totally agree, man, that like, you know, my music is just one big melting pot of all the influences I happen to have, I would say.
Right.
So.
No doubt. And in performances, I know right now I see you doing a lot of the trail rides, or, you know, but then I saw you over in Howlin' Mounds. I saw you over there. So any memorable performances or anybody you've collaborated with, or is it anybody you would like to collaborate with?
Yeah, all three of those questions I'm going to answer.
Okay.
Actually, so two of the most memorable performances since I've been in Mississippi. At the end of 2023, I performed at the Celebration at the Coliseum.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Experience Jackson, Yolanda Singleton, and all those great people over there. And I did Want to Go Home at the Coliseum in front of 6,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was the biggest crowd I've had, and it was a lot of fun. It was an amazing experience. I'm so thankful and thankful, and I'm gonna be doing that many times over.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the first one. Second one, y'all were talking about Bobby Rush.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving night of 2023, I got to open for Bobby Rush at the Village Club in Lexington, Mississippi.
Nice.
Shout out to Mr. Isaac Lindsay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who got me that opportunity, and I played with his band, who even featured, I believe, Mr. Dwayne Watkins of the Cantons on lead guitar. That was quite an experience.
Holy Ghost guitar.
yeah, Holy Ghost. That's right. It was quite an experience getting to meet him and play with him. A real honor. But so in terms of shows, so I've worked with those people. I have a couple. I mean, I've met a lot of my heroes in Southern Soul, whether it's Jeter Jones, or Big Yayo, or more. I got a song out with Jeter Jones also.
Okay.
But in terms of people that I'd like to work with, the list is long, but I'll just try to name a few. Absolutely, Bobby Rush, King George.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too long to. I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot. I have a lot of heroes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if they're listening or tuning in, they hear you. Hey guys, Jake, reach out to Jake. He definitely want to perform and at least meet and that definitely having that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when you look back at your career in so far, so you said you were born in '97. So when did you first start? Like, okay, you moved here from New York, but when did you start? And I guess how long have you been in this as far as the music?
Doing music?
Doing the music. Oh, no, more.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of people ask me that, like, how long you've been doing this music thing? And the answer to just music period is my whole life. I mean, like I said, grew up in a musical household. Before he passed, my dad would put me on his lap and play harmonica, newborn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first record, here's a fun fact, when my dad drove me home from the hospital in '97 after being born, first thing he did is put on Bright Lights Big City by Jimmy Reed. Okay. That's the first piece of music that ever touched my ears.
Yeah.
But since then, I mean, I started playing harmonica as my first instrument. Mm-hmm. I took piano lessons for a little while and didn't really like it too much. I play lead guitar full time as well. I play at church and everything like that. So I started playing that when I was probably 9 or 10. Yeah. I play saxophone as well. So childhood is what I would say. But so. Yeah.
Okay. And then you mentioned the church. So tell us about that experience. What's the name of your church you play?
I play at many different churches depending on the week. The main one in Canton is Greater Faith Calvary Pentecostal.
Okay, and you said guitar, lead guitar.
That's
nice.
Right.
Danny. So Danny, I knew you would, you being in the church and the quartet and that scene, you would enjoy that about Jake.
Well, he can't live in Mississippi and play the blues and not play in church.
That's true.
Everybody come out of the church, all of us.
The same thing, different words, man.
Right. Exactly. Most definitely.
Yeah.
So
Jake, let me ask you, how much music have you actually recorded of your own? How much music have you actually recorded of your own and released?
I have, I believe, four songs out. 4 songs and an instrumental out on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everything.
What are the names of those?
The names of those songs. Okay. You got Wanna Go Home, is my debut. Get Your Wiggle On.
Get Your Wiggle. Now, what is that like? Before you talk, is that like that sound like?
Listen to it, man. Listen for yourself.
Oh, Danny, it's a dance.
It's kind of like it's like a blues. It's like a bluesy kind of. Yeah, it's a real danceable bluesy kind of hip hop song. Get Your Wiggle On. I got a song called Lover Man. And then my most recent song, which has been picking up a lot of traction lately, is called Boom. Which is kind of like a Southern Soul, New Orleans bounce thing.
Yeah, I heard it because I'm watching your TikTok, your profile and channel in there, and I saw you had played it with a New Orleans bounce feel to it.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the record.
Yeah,
that's not no remix.
Yeah. I've heard it I think I heard you perform it, but I didn't hear the bounce sound. But when I heard that, I'm like, okay, this is something right here. I like the bounce music.
Me too. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's a whole other.
Yeah, man, got that 808 in there. You definitely been listening to the rappers putting that 808 and some hey, producers, songwriters, blues, southern soul. That's special. That 808, I hadn't heard nobody really use that since the New Jack Swing days.
Right. Yeah, man. Well, I love Dirty South. I mean, we haven't talked about it as much, being, you know, I love the blues so much, but I love all kinds of Southern hip hop, you know, and even in Mississippi, you know, David Banner, Big Crit, like you got, there's a lot of so much history here, even in terms of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I don't think I got a song out right now that don't have an 808 on it.
Okay. Okay.
Not to say I wouldn't put one out that didn't, but I'm a fan of 808s as well, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That 90s style of music, man, that we all grew to love back in the day. So yeah,
Right.
Well, I'm interested in meeting you in person, man, and doing some work with you. So
Likewise.
hey, yeah, and I'll definitely make sure that you meet some of those guys that you talked about, that you mentioned.
I sure appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I know that would be, you know, huge to, you know, definitely. Because where do you see yourself as you go through this journey, you know, being a musician and writing? What is next for Jake? What is the next steps for you?
Well, I mean, I like to tell people my goal immediately is to be as booked and busy as I can for the you know, the coming calendar days. But aside from that, I have a lot of goals. I mean, I hope to be played on the radio quite a lot, to be honest with you.
Okay. Definitely.
In a market like this, I would hope to not only obviously continue to build my, you know, large following in Mississippi out to other states, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, and all that, Texas, and all that. And I would also like to expand beyond that. And if we're talking a really long-term goal, I mean, I hope to really make a mark on music with my sound, because as much as, like I said, I respect so much of the roots. I believe that what I'm doing is really unique.
Yeah.
And I would like the world to hear it.
Yeah.
And when I say the world, I mean the world.
And that's good you said that too, because just like we were saying with the Southern Soul and it being a, you know, it's you have blues, but you have Southern Soul, which is a little bit feel.
Right.
What you're doing, and like I said, a gumbo of music.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure, you know, to come, there's always going to be a new style of music that's developed in the industry. So do you see yourself spearheading something like that? Or
that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm planning on, I mean, just, I already have my own sound. I think for me, my goal is to spread it as far and as wide as possible. You know, and there's like a couple Grammys wouldn't be bad either.
We know it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. Do you write for any other artists or do any other music for other artists? Yes,
I produce for other. Like I said, I make beats all the time, just, you know, on my own time. So I produce for other artists. I've collaborated with plenty of other artists, like I said, people like Jim Jones. I also play on other artists' records. I do tracking. I played, you know, y'all know Jason A.
I think so.
Yeah,
she's from Rolling Fork.
Okay.
I love her music. But I like her. She just put out a song called "He Lied," which I really like. But I played lead guitar on that. I'm tracking on that.
Nice.
So I also, you know, can work and function as a sideman. Although my main focus and my main career is, you know, being an artist.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely. Yeah. So yeah, it's good, you know, the track you on and being someone who's just embedded in the music industry. It takes you in any direction, really. You're not just, you know, stuck in one lane or one genre of music.
No, there's music everywhere and different kinds of music everywhere in the world. That's one of the beautiful things about it.
Definitely. Well, I know today you brought your harmonica, so we were gonna get you to do a couple of things, you know, just songs or sounds or whatever that you do with your thing, a little something. So I'm gonna let you get started.
Okay. For the record, you said I brought my harmonica today. I don't leave the house without this thing.
It's like air.
I do not leave the house without one of these, and I haven't since I was about 11.
All right, listen at you.
That boy good. That boy bad.
Thank you.
I like it. Hey, Jake, now you got to do this for me. You say you're a big fan of Chessman Records. Give me a little bit of that Little Walter. My baby ain't cheating on me. My baby don't stand no cheap.
Y'all heard it?
Right.
My baby.
I love it. I love it, man.
Go, way to
Shout out to
go.
Little Walter.
Yeah. So, any new music? You got anything you want coming out, or any of your next shows? Let people know as far as your next shows, new music, or and definitely, you know, I want you to give out all your social stuff where they can follow you. But what's coming up next for Jay?
Absolutely. I got a new single dropping within the next month. And as well, I'm going to be at Big Yayo's Big Ride in Pickens. Shout out Holmes County.
Was that April the 27th?
April 27th in up there in Pickens. And many shows. I'm in Indianola in the summertime with Jason A. and Gia Jones and a couple other people. I believe I'm doing a hoedown show in Raleigh later this month. I want to say the 26th. And many, many more to come.
Yeah.
And I can give out, if y'all would also like to book me, could I?
Sure. Yes, most definitely.
Coming
As
to Mississippi soon. You coming up here with me real soon.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. But if y'all would like to book Jake Carter, which I would like you to book Jake Carter, because as we said, the goal is to be booked and busy.
That's it.
You can book me by calling or texting 678-632-3669. Once again, that's 678-632-3669. Or you can email book Jake Carter, BOOKJAKECARTER @gmail.com. And y'all can follow me on Instagram at Jake Carter 4, JAKECARTER 4, and Jake Carter on Facebook. And I'm also on YouTube as well. So yeah, make sure that we did want to make sure we get that out. And again, we're going to put that up as well, so you guys can have that, and definitely follow him. Just with the artists, you've named some of the artists. Do you find, as far as the you know, with the music scene now, with maybe Southern Soul and those artists, you know, sticking together? I heard you said you perform with some. How do you see those relationships as far as the artists in the music and in the industry and in the Southern Soul, as far as working together? Yeah, well, I can only speak for myself and I say that I'm definitely open to working with different artists, and I already, even outside of the music, have good relationships. I'm blessed enough to have good relationships with some of the bigger Southern Soul artists and, you know, the more popular Southern Soul artists. I'm very grateful for that. And I think, I mean, just in music in general, for me, it's a business of relationships. So I like to be, you know, open to having some kind of relationship, whether it be, you know, just as a friend or as a collaborator, to, you know, whatever makes sense in that context. Yeah, but I mean, Danny, you know, last week, Mr. Bobby, he was speaking about that, about relationships in this industry. Like, you really need to have that, really, because we were talking about his longevity in the industry, and he said that was like one thing he mentioned. I know he's got relationships. Yeah. He's been doing it for that long. And make sure to cultivate those, you know, to, I guess, more positive relationships. Absolutely. No. Well, and I mean, to also speak on Mississippi, I've been, even though I'm relatively new here, I feel I'm so thankful at how welcoming, you know, I felt a very warm welcome in general from, you know, the people in music and outside of music. You know, something like Blue Monday at Howlin' Mouse, Central Mississippi Blues Society. I'm a member, but that's like every Monday night jam session. That's just, you know, that feels like family to me, and I ain't been here a year. And so, there's plenty of warmth around it. I'm very thankful for it, and I think that is important in a music career of any kind. Correct. So, no, most definitely. I think, you know, it's just in general, we were just saying building positive relationships, but I'm sure in the music industry, because, you know, you can have the talent, but if you're not forming those good relationships with just people in general, and that, you know, whether they're booking you or you know, putting you on a show, you know, you may not make it. Well, you got it. I think being a good person is arguably more important than anything in this world. That's true. Even if you're not doing music, you know, you got to be you got to put positive energy into the world, or else no positive energy is going to come back to you if you put out nothing but negative energy. That's true. Absolutely. And if your intentions are right, man, you
you'll definitely do good because the talent is there. You can hear it. I hear the talent. I mean, you're a great interviewer. You're doing something now that a lot of new artists, even though you're not really new to music, but you're considered a new artist. You're
Sure.
doing now that most new artists have to take time to learn, and that's to be good interviews. And you're already on top of your game, like calling you out right out on the spot with your harmonica, man. That's amazing. Always be ready. Always be ready to perform. So I'm impressed, man. I like you, and I look forward to working with you.
Oh, likewise, man. I'm very thankful, and I will just say I'm very thankful for 90.1 for having me. For the record, I listen to NPR just about every day. I believe I think I have a radio alarm clock. I think I wake up to NPR.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So it had been a goal of mine to appear on here and to meet y'all and just to be a part of this, historic. This is a really historic, special station and community here.
Yeah.
So I'm so incredibly grateful for y'all for having me,
and
for y'all for listening out there too.
Yeah, we're a new show as well, so we thank you for giving us opportunity to stop by. We look at looking at the industry, and I know when I met you in Prentice, I said, "Hey, I'm getting your information. I'm having a show. I know it was loud and music everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm like, I got a show coming up. I want you on." So I already know, artists and talent, and we want, all the artists we want to work with and. Give you a platform to come on and talk about your journey and your music as well. I know you're considered a new artist, but you're not new to the music industry. What advice would you give people not quite, there yet or thinking about joining, or people, artists younger or musicians younger than you? What would that advice be?
I would say number one, like we just said, be a good person, over pretty much anything. Two, have good work ethic and be determined and persevere and be consistent. I had someone tell me that a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think three, don't be afraid to fail, because as someone, I think confidence is really important in doing this. And I don't know, I think that you develop confidence by kind of losing your ego in little steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In music and otherwise. But I think for a young artist, it takes a lot of getting up there, and people might look at you like, who is this guy?
Right.
Why do I care about him? I don't even like this song.
Yeah.
And you got to be up there and kind of take it, and also just have faith. I think faith is important.
And you learn from it, right? Is that those moments when you realize, okay, when you're in front of a crowd and they're not too receptive, it's able to mold you a little bit more, right?
Absolutely. Those are the productive. I think if you have just a great show that goes well and nothing goes wrong and the crowd goes wild, that's like a rush. It's an adrenaline rush, and it's a blessing and a joy. Mm-hmm. But you learn so much more from the show that feels like you up there for 4 hours.
Really?
When it's a real job. And I've had plenty of those.
Yeah.
Or I think that's essential. That's important. I don't think you can do this if you don't have plenty of those.
Right.
So just stay consistent and be determined. And if you really, obviously don't do it if you don't really love it. I think that's kind of a given. I would be doing music, and I would be making music and listening to music if I would until the day I die. This is just who I am.
Yeah.
So even if it wasn't a career, I would be doing it. And I think that's kind of the mindset you have to have. So once you're in it, just stay determined and have faith in yourself and confidence in yourself.
Yeah, so most definitely. Yeah.
I like it, man. I like it. Jake Carter, JC, down here on the Southern Soul Circuit, man, you got to get a nickname like everybody.
Right.
Oh, I'm saying.
My full name is Jacob, so I guess I'm halfway there.
He went Jake Carter, so we shorten it down as much as possible here. So JC.
Right, JC. Jake from State Farm is cool.
I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about your fellow.
Right.
Guys.
JC is cool. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. And what do you do on your pastime? I know when you're not creating music, what does that look like for you? What does Jake do in Mississippi, especially? Do you travel home? What do you do here?
I love going fishing.
Okay.
And that's something that I inherited from my late father as well. He was a huge fisherman.
Yeah.
And it's something that I didn't do as much until the past few years of my life, but it's been a great way to kind of connect with him. Yeah. And also just, I just love it. And Mississippi, I was like, sometimes I joke telling people that's half the reason I came out here is to fish.
To fish.
You know, I mean, so I like to fish whenever I can. Although to be totally honest, these days I'm working so hard and so busy with shows. I don't always have time to, but I like fishing, and I have, you know, friends around here that I'd like to spend time with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely fishing. I know here in Mississippi, I have relatives. They go in the morning
Yeah.
and they don't return home till late at night. So
See, I would do that. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm out late doing shows and stuff. So I'm a sunset guy, but then oftentimes I got to do something the next evening and I don't get a chance. So it's another personal goal of mine to go fishing more, always, because that's like therapy for me. That's
yeah, it is.
You got to go up to Duck Hill. You got to go up to Duck Hill where you catch a fish.
Duck Hill?
I'm from
Duck Hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I usually just go by the res in near Canton, like up on the north side of the res, like near Canton, near the trace up there.
Right.
But I've heard about the
Grenada too.
The Grenada,
Yeah,
the crappie and the catfish in Grenada.
Yes, you definitely.
That trip is in order.
Yeah, so Duck Hill is right south of it, but Danny, yeah, it's some fish in Duck Hill. Definitely.
Hey, where they got the basketball goal made out of a tire rim?
you know what? We just might. Now, last time I checked, it wasn't, but you never know. Hey, you just might. We get it how we have to get it. I'm telling you. Well, I'm thankful, and I know you mentioned your days. What about this weekend? What do you have going? Do you have any shows that you would like the people to come out to, or anything going on? Or will you be anywhere this weekend?
My mind is drawing a blank. I'm going to be probably in the studio this weekend for most of the time, and I'm playing at church on Sunday. And as far as I know, I just had a bunch of shows last week during the week, so I may be mostly working the studio. But like I said, April 27th in Pickens. Please come out and support. There's a bunch of other great artists.
It was great. I mean, we went to the trail ride in Prentice. Oh my goodness. And that was actually my first trail ride. I'm confessing.
Are you from Duck Hill?
I'm from Duck Hill. My first trail ride, but it was an amazing. It was just,
that was a good one.
Oh my goodness.
Arthur Young.
So it's Big Yayo's again. And who's all on that one?
This one coming up, I believe. Man, I think it's me. I know Maserati Red's going to be there.
Okay.
I believe J.L. Thompson, Mr. Big Truck Driver from Hattiesburg is going to be there. Yeah. I'm blanking on some of the other folks, but I know it's going to be big. Shout out to Big Yayo, who's been one of the most welcoming, kindest, helpful people to me since I had a relationship with him since before I moved out here.
Yeah.
And he's put out together this big ride, which is something really special and fun. And I know he's from up there in Holmes County.
Yeah, he is.
So you know it's gonna be.
I plan on being there. I plan on being there. I'm looking forward to it.
Yayo's a grinder too, man. Yes. So shout out.
Absolutely.
I've never been to a trail ride either. They don't do those up here.
You gotta come through,
he's in Holly Springs. He's near Memphis. He's near the North Mississippi.
Yeah.
And y'all should have trail rides.
You could definitely find one up there. I feel like.
And I don't know about all that bikes and all that, man.
The Delta's probably the closest. That's like
yeah. You got to go, Danny. You have to experience a trail. It's fun. You would enjoy it. You would enjoy it. Yeah. So I guess we thank you so much, and y'all got all of Jake's information. We also have it listed. Danny, what about you? What do you have going on this weekend? And then you can also tell everybody what. Yeah, and I know we've been talking about your show coming up, but what do you have planned for the weekend?
Well, I'm going to attend a very dear close friend of mine in the music industry funeral service, Big Junior. Nathaniel Jordan Jr., man, who rocked with everybody from Hank Williams Jr. to Kid Rock to Calvin Richardson. Anthony Hamilton Jr. was our security guy, VIP bodyguard service. Big Junior passed, so I'm going to take time out, go spend some time in Birmingham. But other than that, I'm getting ready for the Mega Fest, baby. Sunday, May 26th in Holly Springs, Mississippi. Bobby, Calvin Richardson, King George, Chrisette Michelle, in Holly Springs. That's what we're getting ready for. And Marlena, you got tickets. Unfortunately, I didn't charge my phone up, and my phone is finna die. So I gotta jump off of here, and I'll see y'all back next week on the lounge. I didn't want to just drop out and not tell y'all that.
Okay. Well, look, thank you, Danny, and look, be safe up there. I know you said it's still some bad weather coming your way, so please be safe.
It is. All right. Hey, Jake, nice meeting you, man. Big shout out to Commissioner Stamps. Thank y'all for showing me love down there in South Mississippi, Jacktown. Thanks to Marlena and everybody that watched the lounge. Y'all continue to follow us on the lounge. And hey, we're going to keep bringing it, man. We got good interviews coming up. Calvin Richardson, Michael Bivens from Belleville DeVoe, new addition is coming on the show. So Joe Horn, former New Orleans Saint.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Lounge is where it's at right here on Historic WPR 90.1 FM. Thank y'all. I'm out.
Thank you, Danny.
All right.
And then for my weekend, got everybody, if you can, my dad is turning 86 this Sunday. He'll be 86 years old. So everybody in Duck Hill and the area, if you see my dad around, tell him happy, blessed 86th birthday.
Happy birthday.
We'll be celebrating that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for just joining us. This is show number 2. Jake, thank you so much. When I reached out to you, like, yeah, no, most definitely. I'll definitely be glad. And we want to bring you back. We want to have you back on as you go through your journey in this music industry. And we're going to be, having some of your music. So I know you have that, introducing that to everybody. And again, follow Jake, guys. Jake, he's been doing things. Yeah, he's been doing some things. I go down your TikTok and I'm like, whoa, Jake, you've been doing some great things. So we're really excited about it.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Danny. And again, thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us today and join us here on the lounge. And tune in next week at Wednesday at 4 p.m. We'll have a new guest on and we'll be here as well. So thank you for making this your after work wind down spot. Thank you for joining the lounge.